You might have noticed a change in your neighborhood lately. Yep, Sprint stores are now T-Mobile stores. Now that Sprint is T-Mobile, you get more coverage, value, and benefits than ever before. We've invested billions to bring our 5G from big cities to small towns across America. And great coverage is just the start. From high-speed mobile hotspot data to weekly deals and giveaways, our customers get tons of great benefits. Head to your new T-Mobile store to learn more.
Qualifying service and capable device required. Coverage not available in some areas. Some uses may require certain plan or features. See T-Mobile.com.
You might have noticed a change in your neighborhood lately. Yep, Sprint stores are now T-Mobile stores. Now that Sprint is T-Mobile, you get more coverage, value, and benefits than ever before. We've invested billions to bring our 5G from big cities to small towns across America. And great coverage is just the start. From high-speed mobile hotspot data to weekly deals and giveaways, our customers get tons of great benefits. Head to your new T-Mobile store to learn more.
Qualifying service and capable device required. Coverage not available in some areas. Some uses may require certain plan or features. See T-Mobile.com.
Welcome, readers. Today on Book Chat, joining me is my buddy read feature co-host, Classy Green. We'll be discussing The Escape Room, written by Megan Golden. Stay tuned. Today's episode is sponsored in part by Amazon Music. Check it out. It has 70 million songs, thousands of playlists. You can listen without commercials. Sign up today and get your first month for free using the Shelf Addiction link. Go to getamazonmusic.com/shelf addiction and sign up today. Again, the code is shelf addiction. The link is also in the show notes. Hey everyone, I'm your host, Tamara Ford, and thank you for downloading this month's Buddy Read discussion featured here on the Shelf Addiction podcast. If you're new here, every week we get bookish with book discussions, book reviews, shelf bites, and more. If you're wondering what is a Buddy Read, this is a feature where Classy and I select a thriller or mystery title that we both are interested in. Then we have a candid conversation about that book or audiobook. We even discuss it in our Facebook group, Shelf Addiction Official, during a live chat. So grab a glass of wine, a cocktail, a cup of tea or coffee, whatever your drink of choice is, and settle in for this fun discussion. As always with book chats, there is a spoiler alert in effect, so you've been warned. If you enjoyed today's episode, please support this podcast by sharing it with your book nerd friends or on your favorite social media space. That will really help me out, and I appreciate you for doing it. The uncut video version of this podcast is available now on Patreon. Join us there for exclusive videos, including this podcast after show. If you'd like to support the show in other ways, please consider doing that by supporting our sponsors. By supporting them, you are supporting us. Check out all of the sponsors at shelfaddiction.com/sponsors. Since we're talking about supporting the podcast, I'd like to take a moment to welcome Trinette to the Patreon family. Thank you so much, Trinette, for joining over on Patreon. I really appreciate you for showing your support for Shelf Addiction. If you've read the book or listened to the audiobook and would like to weigh in on this conversation, be sure to join the Facebook group Shelf Addiction Official. I hope to hear your thoughts on this discussion. Links for everything I've mentioned are in the show notes, so let's get going. We are going to get started. Joining me is the Buddy Read feature co-host, Classy Green from the Bookish Virtual Assistant. Welcome back, Classy.
Hello, Tamara. Thank you for having me back. Another month.
Yes. So you guys, before we start the discussion, if you're interested in what we do over on Patreon, if you want to see the video of us talk about this, head on over to Patreon right now. It's available and you can watch that video. And today we are discussing The Escape Room, written by Megan Golden, narrated by January Lavoie and Ramon D. Ocampo, published July 30th, 2019 by St. Martin's Press and Macmillan Audio. The hardcover comes in at 368 pages and the unabridged audio is 10 hours and 44 minutes long. Classy, would you please share the synopsis with us?
Sure. I am reading the synopsis from Goodreads, The Escape Room. In the lucrative world of finance, Vincent, Jules, Sylvie, and Sam are at the top of their game. They've mastered the art of the deal and celebrate their success in style. But a life of extreme luxury always comes at a cost. Invited to participate in an In an escape room challenge as a team building exercise, the ferociously competitive coworkers crowd into the elevator of a high-rise building, eager to prove themselves. But when the lights go off and the doors stay shut, it quickly becomes clear that this is no ordinary competition. They're caught in the dangerous game of survival. Trapped in the dark, the colleagues must put aside their bitter rivalries and work together to solve cryptic clues to break free. But as the game begins to reveal the team's darkest secrets, they realize there's a price to be paid for the terrible deeds they committed in their ruthless climb up the corporate ladder. As tempers fray and the clues turn deadly, they must solve one final chilling puzzle. Which one of them will kill in order to survive? That is all.
Okay, y'all. So let's just start with you guys. If you listen to the podcast for a little while, you probably know that we did the night swim and we liked the night swim. So we said, let's do another one by Megan Golden. And we got duped twice. We got duped with Hairpin Bridge, another situation where we loved the last book we read and we got kind of duped. And I feel like we got a little bit duped on this one too.
Yeah, I agree. I am glad we read Night Swim first. Similar to, Taylor Adams that we read No Exit. So, because if we would have read The Escape Room, we would have never tried the Night Swim. I think we would have just said, that's it. Even though, we've given other people, I won't say several
y'all
tries.
Know who it is. You know who it is. Y'all know.
But yeah, I think we would have been like, nah, I don't know.
Yeah, I would have. Yeah, I agree. If this was my first experience with Megan Golden, it probably would have stopped there. Okay, so let's talk about these characters. So I guess we can talk about how it's laid out first.
Okay.
So the story is told like in a non-parallel time between, I guess, the main narrator, which would be Sarah Hall, and then the others, everyone else.
Right. Yeah, because it was, Jules, Vincent, Sylvie, Sam, and Lucy. Even though Lucy's story was kind of told, a little bit through Sarah, right? More than, But all those, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people? Yeah. 5. Plus Sarah.
So
6.
so the chapters were titled Sarah Hall, and then it was titled The Escape Room. And the timing of the Sarah Hall chapters and the Escape Room were not parallel with each other. So like Sarah Hall's story goes back, like to explain how they ended up in the escape room, basically.
Right.
And then the escape room is now while they're in there.
Right. And Sarah Hall's story, and then I think Sarah Hall's story is kind of like basically how she started with the company, right?
It goes back.
Yeah. Because she was, I can't remember, how did we meet her?
We met her opening scene. She was sitting in that interview with a really awful person.
Eric.
Yes, he was just given an interview for appearance's sake. He already knew who he wanted, but he had to put up the guise of interviewing for it. Mm-hmm. And so he was really wretched to her during the interview.
He was misogynistic. He was, like he's asking her questions, and when she's answering, he's eating a mouthful of nuts and chomping. Mm-hmm. I was like, ooh, what an ass.
He's making comments about it being cold in there. He's eyeballing her outfit under the glass table. Mm-hmm. He's doing all kind of disrespectful things.
Yeah, but she needed this job because her parents were ill. They had high medical bills, and she really hadn't found a job since graduate school. So she was trying her hardest because I don't know if, you know what, maybe I would have too in that situation, knowing I needed a job. But I mean, he was a jackass.
Yeah, he was pretty bad. And I mean, honestly, she came through that interview like a champ. She didn't like dive into, she didn't fall for any of the bullshit. She got through it. But later pretty much told the receptionist or secretary where she could get off when she called to figure out like what happened after the interview.
Right. The recruiter.
Yeah.
Yes. Like,
yeah. Like,
yeah.
really? We're doing that? Okay. But, and her, I guess, depending on how you view it, to her luck or unluck, she's going down the elevator and she meets Vincent in the elevator, and he just has an eye for talent. He does.
Yes. He can smell it. And he just happened to be looking over her shoulder and saw she was an alum from, was it Michigan, I think?
Maybe it was Chicago. I don't know.
Oh, Northwestern. That's right.
Northwestern.
Yeah. And she's right in Chicago. So yeah.
She had her resume kind of like on the top of her stuff, and he kind of noticed it. And he noticed the program she came out of and was like, oh, that's a tough program. And she says, oh, my mentor was ABC. And he's like, oh, I know that person. Oh, give me your resume. Maybe I might find something for you.
Right. And within a day, because she was working at a crappy restaurant, living in an apartment with a bad roommate. And I don't think she was that great of a roommate as well. But anywho, but yeah, she was living, bare minimum, and was, going with headhunters trying to find a job. So like you said, to her luck at that time, Vincent was a lifesaver.
Yes.
She got the interview with the same company, but through a different team of a different team of people to interview with. So
yeah, she didn't seem like she had that long journey like some of the other people that work for that firm. They kind of described their process of weeding out people, and she didn't go through that process. He even says, like, at one point in the book, hey, HR didn't even want me to hire you, but I told them I could spot talent. I trust me on this. And she got in.
Right. Yeah. Because she was originally a pre-med major. So he knew, that she was pretty damn smart. And realized that she wasn't coming, as an Ivy League spoiled kid who got everything handed to them, or somebody who had tests taken for them. How that one goes, and then you get the job. And once you get there, you basically learn on the job. No, this girl was hardworking, came up through the ranks. So he knew, like you were saying, he knew he could spot talent. He knew that she was talented and not getting by on somebody's name or her, her family name, or a scion. I think that might be that's a word I learned from reading another book this week.
Right now.
Right. I was like, scion. Oh, that's what they call that. Okay. So, but yeah.
Yeah, unlike another character in this book that we don't really get to know a bunch about him, other than he's the worst person in the world. He was hanging on because of his, his ties, of who knew who he knew and all of this. And we'll get into him a little later, but theworst.com. So the other characters, that are mentioned in the synopsis, I guess we can talk about them each individually. There was Sylvie, and she's the other only woman on their small team that she's assigned to. And she's ex-model, and her career ended after a horrific accident, which we learned that her twin brother dies. And she's a mess, and she's upset because she's lost relationships. She's had a lot of sacrifices, in her opinion, for this company. And on this night of the escape room, she's supposed to be leaving for Paris. She's supposed to be on a plane.
Right. With like the latest boyfriend who she was hoping marriage was going to happen, because like you said, she's lost how many relationships? Because, I mean, can we back up just a little bit with this company? Because it's the life of investment bankers. And Megan goes into great detail, the world building of investment banking and, the long hours. They were basically indoctrinated during orientation. It was like Pavlov training, they gave them all this nice food and this and that, and
gifts, luxurious gifts.
Yeah. And if this is what you get if you're loyal. And I mean, great bonuses. So they expected everything.
So almost imagine, like, it gave me like Wolf of Wall Street vibes. Like everything was exorbitant and over the top.
Mm-hmm.
These people work themselves to the bone. They are expected to look like they just are fresh and free with bright eyes, bushy-tailed every morning, even though they get like 3-4 hours of sleep.
Yeah. Many of them were drug addicts, we learned. But I mean, I can imagine. Yeah. They were using Oxy, and I think she said she saw somebody snorting cocaine. Yeah. One of the new recruits that she said, who was straight and narrow, and by a month later, she's in the bathroom snorting cocaine.
Yeah. Because they have a huge amount of pressure put on them to get the stuff done.
Yeah.
So that's the environment. Just imagine people walking around with Gucci and Prada and LV and expensive ties and suits, Hermes suits.
Yeah.
And, they're miserable. And all they care about is that money. That's it. That's the only thing that keeps them going is the money.
Yep.
So that's Sylvie. The next guy is Sam. He is also supposed to be on a trip. He was supposed to go with his family.
Right. Was he the one who had the twins? Was he the one with twins and the wife who?
Yeah, the wife, Kim, who kept spending more.
Yes. Gonna lead them into bankruptcy.
Yeah. And he was waiting on that bonus to help kind of cushion because it's like she was living that billionaire life and he was only a millionaire.
Exactly.
Yeah. So she acting like they're billionaires, spending all the money, buying the bigger houses, the more stuff. And he's like, oh my God, this woman going to drive me broke. We're going to be broke.
Yeah.
Nothing's ever good enough.
No, because I mean, when did she find out like their money was low when her credit got declined?
Yeah,
when
he
she
lowered her credit.
Yes. I was like, whoops.
Now, I don't know if you guys know, but an Hermes bag on the cheap side, a cheap bag for them, and I'm using air quotes for cheap, you could probably get one for $15,000. The expensive ones, the hard to find ones, you might spend $20,000-$30,000 on a bag.
Wow.
So that's a different level of living.
Yeah. Totally different, because that's somebody's yearly income.
Exactly.
For a bag that you're going to carry around, put on the floor. Okay, well, I digress.
See, this is the thing, though. It's like for me, I try to imagine when my people today can spend $50. If you do inflation for someone that is a millionaire or billionaire status, that could be like spending $5,000 and it won't be a thing. You could lose $50 and be like, oh, well, I guess I lost that $50 somewhere.
Right.
So it's like you have to put it in perspective of how much they earn and how much money they actually have. So I don't know, maybe it's equivalent to buying a $1,500 Louis Vuitton. You know what I'm saying? At most people, they will be, you spent $1,500? But to them, they're like, oh yeah, I spent $30,000 on this bag. So what? It's fine.
I know. I struggle with that. With that because I'm like, I don't know if I want to wear all my money. I would rather invest, but that's just me. And that's what I was like, you guys are investment bankers, but there is a thing, the image is very important, as we see in the book.
They don't hire ugly people. They don't hire fat people. You have to look away. You have to look how you wear the designer uniform. You look a certain way. You dress a certain way.
I mean,
That's just
they
what they
even
do.
mentioned somebody who was pregnant, that the woman didn't even mention she was pregnant until she was like 6 months, because they did not want that look. And I'm like, really? She's giving birth? She's bringing a human into this world? But no, they didn't even, pregnancy was frowned upon. So I
They
think they
don't know
mentioned
what
somebody was
work-life
probably,
balance is.
no, purely, honestly, yeah. So I think they mentioned like somebody, she probably had a surrogate because she probably didn't even have time to have a baby, spend those 6 to 8 weeks off. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, like you were saying, put it in perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, exactly. So then the guy, Jules, he is an alcoholic. He is.
That's an understatement. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, wait, Sam, wasn't Sam sleeping with prostitutes as well? Yeah,
yes.
I feel like so going back, Sam was sleeping with prostitutes as well.
Mm-hmm.
So Jules, he is an alcoholic. Wasn't he the one trying to be Sarah's self-imposed mentor? Like he was like gonna mentor her.
Was he the lawyer? One of them was a lawyer. Not everybody was an investment banker. One of them was a lawyer, and I believe it was, I can't remember, but yeah,
I'm not sure.
He was an alcoholic. I mean, he had stopped. He was such an alcoholic that he stopped drinking bourbon because of the smell, and went to vodka because it didn't linger, or they say vodka doesn't have a smell,
but you can smell it. I mean, if you've drunk so much of it, you can smell it.
Yeah, it's in your pores. So yeah, he was definitely an alcoholic. I mean, when he got to the escape room, he was kind of sad that he didn't get that drink.
He's like, why didn't I take that bottle from the car?
He was like, damn it. If I would have known, I would have had that brown liquor.
Yeah, he's like, I would have grab a couple of those mini bottles. Like he was fiending for a drink in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, the ringleader, Vincent, the boss, he was the last to arrive to the escape room. He sent the meeting, invite email for this escape room. And while he didn't know some of the things that happened to get them to this point, he is not a good person either.
No. Nope. I don't think I liked anybody.
No, they were all pretty unredeemable.
Yeah,
but Lucy, she was doing wrong too. She was in the circle. Now the circle is a group of people. This group of people, they had created their own little Cayman Islands account.
Offshore,
of course. And at its height, it was like over $100 million in there when they were doing real well.
Yeah.
And they were doing real well because they decided to bring Lucy into the fold. And Lucy is like the smart photographic memory, like Rain Man of finance.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking too. She was the Rain Man of finance. Yes, definitely. And but I mean, I'm not sure, like you said, she wasn't doing good either, but I don't think she knew to the extent of what was happening until the numbers start showing, because she doesn't see that gray area. She only sees black and white. So I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure if she really knew.
Oh, she did, because that was part of Jules' problem with her. She was like, we should turn ourselves in. This is too much. We've crossed. Yeah,
at the end. Right. But I think she was kind of like, okay, this is what my boss wants me to do. I'm going to do this. And then it hit, like reality hit her. And it was like, this is what's happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because because she was on the spectrum. And I think, with them, sometimes they don't realize, that level of wrong and right until I think she starts seeing the numbers and how it was affecting, and then it became reality to her. So, but I don't know.
Yeah.
She was probably the only one, but like you said, we only learn about her through the eyes of Sarah. So she's kind of like an omniscient character. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah. But yeah, I didn't like any of the characters.
Yeah, they're all not great people. It was hard to relate to even Sarah.
Yeah.
I did feel bad for her at times. Like, for example, so what happened was Lucy died. Died. It looked like a suicide, but it wasn't a suicide. And her mother was calling out things that looked wrong about her apartment and her note and these other things. And she talked to Sarah about some of it. And then Sarah had discovered some drawings and some like journal type things that revealed what had recently happened to Lucy. Very disgusting, very I mean, can you imagine sexual harassment at your workplace at 1,000%? 1,000%. The only thing that didn't happen to her was that she was not physically raped. That was the only thing that did not happen to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not only didn't occur because Eric mentioned penetration. We can't do penetration.
No, we don't do that.
So go ahead.
Anything else,
you can.
Yeah,
you know,
just
without.
not
Yeah. And it was, that was just despicable.
It was horrible. Yeah. So after Sarah finds out about this, she goes to Vincent because for some reason she thinks she can talk to this man. And I kind of get it. He kind of had her back a couple of times. She felt, I guess, that she could trust him in a way since he gave her the job. And, you know, she felt so grateful and she shouldn't have been.
He was Lucy's mentor. So,
Yes.
you know, I think with you being Lucy's mentor, because I think she went to him before she realized that his face was distorted in Lucy's images, right? Because I think
he was the devil in those images.
Right. But she didn't realize, she didn't see that image until later. Because remember when the mom gave her that the album cover. But yeah, I mean, she went to him thinking, hey, you were Lucy's mentor. She thought everything of you. And this is what happened to her. And it was just, it was just
sad. And it was a long time later. It was like a year after Lucy had been gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then she felt like, I can't not say anything. And then she was toying around with not saying anything because she's like, well, I don't want my stuff to be messed up. I'm doing well here. And I hate to say it, but you know what? That was the right way to think, because what did this company do? They what is the word I'm looking for? They basically, you know what I'm trying to say. They help me out.
Covered up.
They covered up, and they basically made Sarah look like a liar. They made her look like she didn't know what she was talking about. They made her look incompetent when it came to her work. They were playing games with her.
Yeah, it was a mind game. It was. It came to the point where it was like, she knows too much. It's either her or it wasn't that. The image of the company will be affected if what she says comes out, truth or not. But she's collateral damage. You know, she needs to be getting rid of. And I think, and then in the end, Vincent didn't realize the lies. He just went by the other workers.
He believed Sylvie. He asked Sylvie, does any of this ring a bell to you? This is what she's saying. And Sylvie's like, of course not. That is not true. She straight lied to his face.
Yeah. And then like the reports that she was turning in, because I was just like, oh yeah, if you submitted this, it's going to be correct. And they had somebody in IT apparently because she submitted a report, but when it got to Vincent, all the numbers were wrong. And so, you know, it was a team effort to make sure that not Sylvie, that Sarah would be removed, because she was fucking up church's
Yeah.
money.
They took it on them.
Their investment. Yeah.
Yeah, that was their goal, to get rid of her. So they were really making her look incompetent, knowing that Vincent wouldn't tolerate it, right? So Vincent turned on her pretty quickly when he felt like Sylvie, obviously he's going to trust Sylvie because she is in his circle. He's going to trust her before Sarah.
Yep. Right. I mean, cash rules everything around me.
Yes.
Cream gets the dollars. Right. And that's what this is. You know, what did he say? They had like $3 million, if not like whatever that investment when Lucy was brought on, she had brought in like 3 million, like really quick. So
yeah, that was how it started. It started with a quick 3 mil, and then they got greedy and started doing more and more and more. And that's what I remember at the height of it, at the highest point when they had the most money. It was like over $100 million.
Yeah. Yep. So yes,
yeah,
I'm believing Sylvie.
Yeah,
you're not messing with and he was about to retire. You know, he was close to retirement, so he was like, no, you messing with the church's money. We need to get you out of here because we can't have this. So they made her out to be a lie. They made her, like you said, she was unreliable, and they didn't need that anymore. And he put her on probation, and the next week she was gone.
You're fired. Yeah. You're out of here. They gave her a severance, but they wouldn't even give her a reference. I wouldn't even give her a referral. Like, write the woman a damn note. Come on. They wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So she struggled.
Yeah.
So
you know
let me go back. Go ahead.
When you mentioned Wolf of Wall Street, is that the name of the movie? Because I think I watched a little bit. I didn't watch the whole. I got immediately Devil's Advocate vibes. I don't know if you did. With is that Al Pacino or is that well, you know, like
Reeves and Al Pacino.
Yeah, but like, you know, with the images and you know, the distorted figures. Because remember when the wife would look in the mirror and all of a sudden she'd see the devil and things like that. But I think maybe because it kept saying the firm, and I was like, yeah, this reminds me of, you know, they give you all these lavish gifts and all these fancy dinners and all this and that. So yeah, so I kind of got
difference is that Vincent was not in charge of everything like he thought he was.
No, not at all.
Like Al Pacino, he was the devil. He was pulling everyone's strings. Vincent was not pulling everyone's strings.
No. But that it was just, you know, that firm and the indoctrination, and we treat everybody so well and this and that. And then all of a sudden you start seeing the true personality, you know, the true, the greed behind everybody's, or, you know, their desires and what will people do to get more. Because I mean, these people were spending $15,000, if not more, for Christmas gifts. Am I right? Yeah. Wasn't it like 40,000?
Yeah, he was like on the low end. Some of the brand new people might spend 12. He was like, that's on the low end. But he's like, look at it as an investment.
Yeah, because that bonus that you're gonna get. Yeah. So yeah, it was just it was a doggy dog world. It
was.
Yeah.
And so, like, I kind of wanted to get back to Lucy a little bit because I feel like these characters, and to me, this was a big, like, flaw in the plot. And I wanted them to explain to me, I wanted Megan Golden to kind of give me a better explanation as to why things went down the way they did. I felt like Jules' explanation, let's just say he was the killer. Jules was the one that killed her. Wasn't it him? Yeah.
Oh, Sam.
Oh, Sam, I thought he was on the floor dying, telling all the business, but Jules was the one that was had the gun.
Sam is the one who killed her.
Okay, I must have it reversed. I could have swore it was Jules, but I probably got it wrong.
Okay. One of those men killed her.
One of those two.
Yeah.
Because Sam was dying on the floor, right? That was Sam that was dying on the floor, telling all the business. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I regress. I was trying to say that, you know, if Lucy is such an asset to your circle, she's making y'all all this money. Why wouldn't you protect your money? So, for example, when Eric lost his shit after Lucy called him out, he was very embarrassed. And he is the one that got the interns drunk, rallied them up to attack her, like in the elevator. And Jules was in the elevator. He was in there. That's how he was able to say no one raped her, because I saw it. I was in there.
Right.
But Jules, I feel like they could have stood up to Eric as a unit. She is your money maker. She is what's allowing you guys to make all this money so quickly. Why wouldn't you protect your own interest, even if you didn't care about her as a person?
Yeah. But at that time, wasn't like Vincent would have protected her, but he wasn't even in town, I believe. Wasn't he like away?
Yeah, he was always like traveling and stuff. And I guess Jules, or maybe it was Sam, I thought Jules said I couldn't reach you. I thought Jules was like the one in charge of that group. He got the second highest bonus.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I couldn't reach you, so I had to make some decisions.
Right. But I think too, like in the end, even though she was the money maker, these people were so obsessed with ego and image. Because, what do you call her? You effing fucktard. That's all he could think of, not knowing that without this woman, your data, what you're getting and how you are getting your bonuses are impossible without Lucy. But, all they cared about was image, how we look, how much money we have. And they didn't even realize that she was they did, but they didn't give a care.
Right. Like once Lucy died, their $100 million portfolio quickly dropped to about 58. That was what was left in the end, 58 million. So that's still a lot of money, but that's almost half. You guys lost half because you didn't have your brainiac to keep the numbers balanced.
And right. And when you say that, y'all, it was 5 of you guys: Jules, Sylvie, Sam, Vincent. Well, Lucy's gone, but now it's 4 of you.
Right.
So, you got to divide that. That's like, your little band. Y'all got to divide all that little tour money amongst 4 of you. And now it's half. So now it's doggy dog. So, but that was quite interesting, that why you wouldn't protect. But again, I started seeing that she was trying to base this on the greed of this industry, that they don't care about how intelligent someone is and how they get the money. She made me look bad in a meeting, even though she's giving facts, all facts. But she made me look bad. How dare she make me look bad?
And Eric wasn't even a part of the circle. That's why I'm like, they let that outside person like fuck with their money. I mean, if you think about it, bare bones, y'all about your money, right? Like y'all about your money, y'all should have like got rid of his ass to try to show Lucy that you had her back in that way, at least. But they didn't. Instead, they went the other way. So
because he had clout. Lucy didn't have clout.
Right. So after that whole incident happened, she was crumbling at the seams. She had a hard time dealing with that. She already like doesn't relate to people in the regular way. So she had a hard time like computing as normal most people would what happened to her.
Right.
And instead of like, which made her even more like, I think she thought we're doing bad things. That's why that happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
So she's even more, we have to tell on ourselves. We have to turn ourselves in instead of the other way.
Right.
And it's like, you guys.
Yeah. It was just her mental state was fragile, but this even made it even more fragile because she couldn't, like you said, she couldn't comprehend what was going on. Here, I'm just trying to do the right thing. I'm just trying to do the right, like, because she couldn't like when they had to the people, was it the Michigan plant who, all those people were laid off. I think her conscience just started weighing heavy on her. But yeah, they didn't protect. This is the one time they didn't protect their investment, because she was an asset to that company, and
to them as the circle doing their dirty stuff. She was the key. The minute she was gone, they were losing money. And it was like they didn't even read the room right.
No, but all they saw was jail time. I'm not going to jail. Right. That was that. I am not going to jail. And I think then that's when everything really started to crumble, where Sam started saying, hey, she's talking about we'll get less time. No, how about we're not going to get any time? Because Sam was, the father of twins, the wife, blah, blah, blah. So he was probably just thinking, no, this can't happen.
Yeah. It was interesting. I mean, I do feel like, okay, did you get any Saw vibes like when they were in the elevator? Did you ever see that movie Saw?
No, I did not see Saw.
Okay. I felt like when they were like burning up to death and they're freezing, I just like got those kind of like, and they had to do things to kind of out each other and like do these painful things to like, well, if I do this, everyone's going to fucking know what I said about them. Or, like those kind of things that kind of just creates division.
Yep.
Yeah. And chaos. And it's like, that kind of just reminded me of that a little bit. Although they weren't like chopping off limbs and stuff, but they could have been.
Oh, yeah, they could have in that little bitty space. And you know what else? I was like, okay, so you guys have been in this elevator how long? Somebody's got to pee?
Yeah, they said something about being able to pee down the side or out the door or something.
Yeah, they opened up that little gap. But I'm like, y'all been in there for a long time, and somebody had alcohol. Y'all should have been using the bathroom way sooner than this.
That sounds like a cluster. I mean, it was a cluster. The whole time, like even in the escape room, quote unquote, Jules and Sam are like, and even Vincent, they're looking at like Sylvie, like, oh, look at, what I'm saying? They're looking at her in a lustful way.
Yeah. Like
y'all in this badass situation and you're trying to check her out.
It's hot. You haven't eaten. And and that's all you guys think about is her, her boobs and blah, blah, blah. But it started to really dull after a while to me with the story. Like the characters, they were not flushed out. I thought they were kind of flat. I didn't enjoy them. And in that elevator, it just became mundane. Somebody's thirsty, somebody had a gun, and then we're fighting. And I get it that we're in a small space, but I just felt like it should have been more to the escape room part besides these little cryptic messages. There was really nothing to solve.
I know.
I didn't feel, because I don't know if you've been in an escape room. I've been in an escape room, and there was things to solve. And even in the end, they didn't solve anything. Like they knew that
they didn't. The point was for them to realize how awful they were to each other, I think, to kind of let all the secrets out.
Right. But like even the little cryptic messages, all they knew was that these were Lucy's. Lucy loved these quotes, but it really didn't. In an escape room, I won't even say in my opinion, in an escape room, you got to solve all these clues to get an answer. And I guess maybe like you were saying, the answer is you guys are all shitty and you shouldn't have treated Lucy the way you did, or more of you would have survived, I guess. But
they never figured out who put them in there because they thought Sarah was dead. They said she died, so it's not her.
No, they thought Vincent did this. They really thought he was, because he, I think, they think he was the one who sent this email. But, Sarah had went through this whole ruse of faking her death, learning IT and coding, and she took some acting classes. And I think that's when I really started getting disinterested, because she went through all this world building.
That was a long game.
Huh?
That was a long game.
Yeah.
Years had passed by that time.
Yeah.
So I think we're like 2 or 3 years past Lucy's death at this point.
Yeah. And I mean, she spent all this time talking about the firm and all this, that. And then all of a sudden at the end, she gives us all of this, that, Sarah decides, to do this because she's figured out that Lucy was, killed. She did not commit suicide, and, she figured out the circle. But I mean, I just felt like it was all jammed, packed in the last, 10% of the book, maybe 15, 20%. And yeah. I just felt like you were saying, that long game part, I think I would have probably enjoyed it more if she would have spent a little more time with that long game, because I don't know. It just felt like she was rushed. I felt like it was a rushed ending.
Okay. I can see that.
Yeah, I really did, because here we have them sitting in this elevator, and I'm like, okay, who's doing it? Is it Lucy? Is Lucy really dead? Did their mom help fake the death? And, because, Sam wind up even getting the mom killed. It was just, I don't know. And again, this was her first novel. We did read Night Swim. I believe she has gotten better with her writing skills. I think the book could have been better if she would have took a little premise. It was. I really did. I liked the psychological games. But I felt like, how she was, maybe I can explain it better with this part. The psychological part that she did with them in that elevator and her learning all this IT stuff, I felt like I would have enjoyed more if she would have taken the time, she being Meg Golden, taken the time to delve into that. Because all of a sudden she's just throwing that, oh yeah, I played with the temperature, as she's on her way to a cruise.
Right. I'm like, what? You just gonna fiddle in this app? Okay, girl.
No, I'm sorry. I'm about to play some damn mind games. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, oh yeah, they should be doing this right about now. They're probably hot as hell. Cold temp, but no, she's in a taxi or an Uber on her way to the cruise, and it just felt.
Yeah, the author made it seem like the whole point of the escape room from Sarah's point of view was just to keep them unavailable so she could steal this money.
Yeah.
Which got lost in translation for me, because the tension that was there totally disintegrated at that point completely. I'm like, so you did all this stuff I thought the goal was to make them see how horrid they are and to reveal all these things, but really it was just so you could get the money and so they wouldn't have access to their phones. Mm-hmm. And you can play with them a little bit while you get this cash. But even earlier than that, I did feel like the tension started to unravel a bit, because I found it very predictable. I thought the whole time it was Sarah. The whole time I thought it was her. I'm like, well, especially after she figured out what happened to Lucy, I'm like, of course it's her. Who else would it be? Yep. Even though that, that connection wasn't made clear at that point, but I'm like, who else? So it just kind of felt like, meh.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, once I knew that it was her, and I got a clue too, like when they figured out the anagram, is it, with all the different words, and they're like, Sarah Hall, she's the only one that's not with us. And I was like, so I'm listening, and I'm like, okay, it's her. So if I already know it's her, give me a bang with this. Don't just, drag me out about some damn Hermes bags and he has, mistresses and he has no, let's go into this mind game, because an escape room is a mind game. I mean, you're really trying to figure this out because you're on a time limit. That's what my thought is. They're in this elevator and it's a time limit, because like you were saying, even if she is playing with them until she can get this money, let's do that in this elevator. But instead, we're just listening to some drab ass story about, Sylvie thinking about, her brother, and then Sam thinking about, oh, I'm going to be late for this plane. And
it was a mess, kind of like when in regards to that. And I mean, why? Okay, so you're right. They spelled out Sarah Hall's name. So why throughout the rest of their time in that elevator, no one questioned why was Sarah's name there? They're all blaming Vincent. No one is thinking past their nose. These are supposedly smart people.
Yep.
No one said, why is her name in here?
Yep. Why? It's a clue.
Yeah.
So why aren't we? So we have her name, and then we have all these. I can't remember whatever the quotes that Lucy had, but that's where I think she kind of failed with this escape room in this so-called psychological game, because I need to hear from Sarah's side. Why are we playing these games? And, like, I'm not just doing this on my way. I am this is what I did. I took some acting classes. Revenge is sweet. And like her mom said, well, it was, sweet to her. The best revenge is living well. But I think she should have did that maybe at like 50-60% mark or whatever, instead of the 80th percent mark, where we began to find out she sold everything and now she's living as a waitress again and taking.
My God.
And so I was just like,
let me just nitpick one thing that did not make sense to me. So so midway, I don't know what part, I'd stopped keeping track. Sarah finds herself in Vegas making like $1,000 tips every night. So she's able to stack a bunch of cash while she's doing that. And I'm like, in no way did she make enough money to set herself up the way she did. So at the end of this, she pulls up to her fancy house on the beach. And yes, I know when you live overseas, it's cheaper, but she pulls up, she has this driver, she has a maid. And at that point, she had just stolen the money. So where the fuck did you get all the money to do all of this? You didn't explain that. How did she get the money?
Because I know tips were good, but they weren't that damn good. For one, you had to change your identity, which was $15,000.
Right.
I was adding up stuff too, like,
yeah.
Is that new math? Gotta be that new math.
The new math.
It's that new math, because she was like, see me in 2 weeks, 15,000. This woman doesn't have 15,000.
No.
She's not making that kind. I mean, like you said, you're making good tips in that hot outfit, Fantasy Friday, but you're not making that kind of money.
No.
Yeah.
So I think like they were trying to say, well, at least on that Fantasy Friday, she said she made almost $800 in tips or something that night. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'm assuming she's probably getting that a couple times a week, probably. But still, like, dude, and that was years of you doing other things to set up this whole charade. So where did this money come from? How did you buy this house? How did you get a staff? She just walk up in the house. The staff is like, oh, your champagne's out by the beach. I'm like, what? Okay.
there was like that one point where I had to back up. Like I rewind, like, did I just hear? No. It doesn't add up. It did not add up. So yeah, those are some unbelievable parts in the story that I struggled with, that did not help with my rating of this book, because especially here's my thing. And I don't know. And I know in Goodreads, like psychological wasn't listed as one of the top genre tags, but I kind of feel like with escape room, you would kind of it would kind of be a little psychological.
Mhm.
Somebody was a little off.
But she didn't do that really because it was really plain that these were freaking horrible people. And it was like,
okay.
what's left to discover about them?
True. But even thriller part.
Yeah.
I mean, we knew who it was. Okay, so you know what? That doesn't even go with thriller. That's mystery. We already knew who it was. So I guess it wasn't even, no, we knew.
Yeah.
She tried to, okay. I'm delving too much into it.
You're hoping for something that
wasn't. I am. I'm like pulling for you, Megan. I really am with this one. But yeah, I
do think like on the plus side, I do feel like it was a moderately fast book. I think I'd say it was medium paced book more than fast. It's like medium paced. It had a lot of drama for the sake of drama. And I mean, the story was really over the top. So if you're looking for something where you don't need to think to dissect what's happening, this might be a good book for that.
Yeah, that's true. I will say that is a plus. That, it is. It's right in your face. You realize that these are some really horrible people who will do horrible things all for their gain.
Yeah.
There you have it. But yeah. And I guess, we just went too deep.
Well, we always want, as people, we read a lot more of this. Oh, some people read a lot of this too. And I feel like once you get to a certain point, you're looking for a little bit more depth. You're looking for things to be a little bit more complicated. You want to be challenged as far as sorting things out.
Yeah. Because there's no way that I can figure out certain things within the 20th percent. So yeah, I didn't feel too challenged, but the pace was decent. It was decent. But I think I became disinterested that in those final stretches of her, dyeing her hair and becoming, basically Sylvie.
Yeah. Like, so
yeah, I really, I was just like, oh,
like,
God.
What is
are we going there?
Okay, so let me just get real technical. What is the point of that? Because guess what? Vincent was the one who set up the accounts for them in the Cayman Islands. Was Sylvie ever there? Did she ever go? Does it matter what Sylvie looks like? When you go to the bank, it's not like she's a regular customer. Hey, it's Sylvie.
No. Right, unless she had some kind of ID. That's all I'm thinking. But but all that other stuff, but like the walk and all that didn't matter. If all you were doing was ID, all you needed was a look. And like you were saying, you guys she hasn't visited on a regular. It's not like she's
her
at the
corner
local
bank.
Right. Yes. Where everybody knows your name. This isn't fucking Cheers, the Bank of America. No.
Right. No one knows her.
No, but I mean, so I think that's when I became disinterested because I'm like, oh gosh, she's getting just way too far. I could see if she, took us a little bit back in the book, but like you were saying, that part was just unnecessary.
She's doing the most.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
the most.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Lord have mercy. Okay, well, let's we didn't take a break. We not take a break, so we're going to take one real fast.
Okay.
Then when we come back, you guys, of course, check out all the things while we're on break. When we come back, we'll talk about the narrators just a little bit, and we'll wrap up with final comments, and we'll give our rating. And unfortunately, you'll have to figure out what we're reading next later because we did not pre-prepare that. So it's gonna be a surprise. So anyway, on to the break. We'll be right back.
You might have noticed a change in your neighborhood lately. Yep, Sprint stores are now T-Mobile stores. Now that Sprint is T-Mobile, you get more coverage, value, and benefits than ever before. We've invested billions to bring our 5G from big cities to small towns across America. And great coverage is just the start. From high-speed mobile hotspot data to weekly deals and giveaways, our customers get tons of great benefits. Head to your new T-Mobile store to learn more.
Qualifying service and capable device required. Coverage not available in some areas. Some uses may require certain plan or features. See T-Mobile.com.
You did it. You woke up today. You even got out of bed. You deserve a reward. We can't all be morning people, but we can all get McDonald's for breakfast.
Right now, mix and match a Chicken McGriddles or a McChicken biscuit for just $3. Order ahead on the Mickey D's app. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with combo meal. Single item at regular price. Mobile order and pay at participating McDonald's.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Any moment that lets you just sit back, relax, and enjoy even 1 second of the day to yourself and taste like pumpkins, that's a moment to look forward to. The McCafe Pumpkin Spice Latte is back. Get a $2 small hot or iced for a limited time. Or try one of our other freshly brewed espresso drinks. From iced caramel macchiatos to caramel frappes to hot mochas to every sweet treat in between. Only at McDonald's. Price and participation may vary.
Today's episode is brought to you by the Shelf Addiction merch store. Check out all the bookish t-shirts, notebooks, mugs, and more. Don't miss out on these original designs, perfect for any book nerd. Support the podcast and visit shelfaddiction.com/merch and pick up your next favorite bookish item. All right, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Let's talk about the narrators. There were 2 narrators. And honestly, when I was listening, it kind of blended together. Although I knew there was like one narrator doing the escape room and one narrator doing Sarah, but it kind of just blended into the background. Does that make sense? Did that happen to you?
Yep. I felt like they only needed one. And January Lavoie could have did it all.
Yes.
That's just my opinion. But I was like, who is this dude? He's not even okay. Disclaimer. He was okay. Not saying that he was a bad narrator, but I just didn't see the need for him when January was doing male and female.
Right. Right. And it's not like the escape room scenes were specifically from Vincent's point of view or one person's point of view. It was kind of omniscient or third person. So anyone could have read those chapters.
Exactly. This is getting really crazy between us, man. Yeah, I felt the same way. I was like, okay, so why do we have this guy? But okay, yeah. I get it. But, January is one of my we love January from Stranger on the Beach.
Yeah.
And she doesn't fail. She was good.
No, she's solid. She's good.
Yeah.
I haven't had a bad listening experience with her yet. It's always spot on.
Yeah.
And I really feel like she does add more value to the story. Some people discount the narrators when it comes to, the story. Like I actually saw someone say something like, it doesn't matter about the narrator. It's all about the story. And I'm like, that is a lie, girl. You obviously don't listen to a lot of audiobooks because the narrator can destroy a story or help it. And I think she definitely helped it in this case.
Yeah, she did. She really did. She could have did all the voices. She really could have. Because he didn't stand out to me.
Yeah. I just got a deep tenor like from the switch.
Yep.
And that was it.
Yep. And it wasn't a good female voice either.
No. Like when he was like thinking of, or telling things from Sylvie's point of view, I was like, nah.
Exactly.
It's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I could be reading this. Yeah, that's how it
exactly. All right. I guess let's do our ratings now and just wrap up any final thoughts. And would you like to go first, Classy?
Yes, I will go first.
Okay.
I would say I give it a 3 because it wasn't horrible to the point where I wanted to give it a 2. So I gave it a 3. I really don't have too much more to say than that.
Okay. Well said. I mean, I give it a 3 also, because that 3 is really just the run of the mill, middle of the road. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. 3s don't make my recommended list, so I wouldn't really recommend it unless you just really wanted something mindless that you could just go along with. And of course, if you're here for the drama, for the sake of drama, then maybe this might be a good option, but it's fine.
Yep.
3 out of 5.
Yep.
And
not bad for a debut novel. I get it. Yes. But yeah, it wasn't stellar. It wasn't. This is a book, and I think we've said it before, with a 3-star rating. I probably won't remember too much. I'll be like, what did she write again? Now, we definitely remember Night Swim.
Yeah.
But this, I won't remember it probably by the end of the year.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
Yeah.
So that is it for today, you guys. Definitely check us out on Book Clubs with a Z. The link is in the show notes. Or if you're still on Facebook, check us out on Shelf Addiction Official over on Facebook and be first to be in the know with what we're reading for October. We're going to announce it literally. It's going to be announced before you hear this podcast. So if you're listening to this podcast and you're not in those groups, you've missed the announcement. Get over there ASAP. Get over there ASAP and, find out what we're reading next so you can be in the know with us when we start next month. Yeah, that's it. Yay. So we're going to end things there. If you're still listening to the sound of my voice, I appreciate you for listening to the entire episode. It means a lot. Yes. And we will catch you next month. Take care of yourselves. And until next time, happy reading. Bye, guys.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's episode and would like to show your support, there are a few things you can do. Head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave a positive 5-star review, or like this episode on your favorite podcast player. It seems so simple, but it really helps me out. You can share this podcast with other book nerd friends or on your favorite social media space. You can also join the Shelf Addiction Patreon family. For as little as $2 a month, you will help us produce even more awesome content for your ears. You can also consider joining the Shelf Addiction Official Facebook group, where we talk all things bookish and more in a safe space. The Shelf Addiction Podcast is a part of the Nerdy Maven Network. You can also reach us via email at info@shelfaddiction.com. Thank you for listening.
Dunkin' is putting a whole new spin on pumpkin at Dunkin' with our new pumpkin cream cold brew. Smooth, bold cold brew topped with velvety pumpkin cream cold foam made with cinnamon and nutmeg spices. And there's more pumpkin for you to love, like the delicious fall classic, our pumpkin spice signature latte. Rich espresso topped with whipped cream, caramel drizzle, and cinnamon sugar. That's how we pumpkin at Dunkin'. Sip into the fall season with the $3 medium pumpkin cream cold brew or pumpkin spice signature latte. America runs on Dunkin'. Participation may vary. Limited time offer. Exclusions apply. Valid on pumpkin spice signature latte only in all cold foam cold brew.
You might have noticed a change in your neighborhood lately. Yep, Sprint stores are now T-Mobile stores. Now that Sprint is T-Mobile, you get more coverage, value, and benefits than ever before. We've invested billions to bring our 5G from big cities to small towns across America. And great coverage is just the start. From high-speed mobile hotspot data to weekly deals and giveaways, our customers get tons of great benefits. Head to your new T-Mobile store to learn more.
Qualifying service and capable device required. Coverage not available in some areas. Some uses may require certain plan or features. See T-Mobile.com.